What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman III of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to the Rob Westerman Show. It is Friday, August 9th. Happy Friday, everybody. Just got back from the gym, and no better way to keep the morning rolling by chatting it up with you guys. So happy Friday. Good morning. I am live every morning at 7 a.m. Central Time, or Lambeau time, if you will. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it. M. Smitty over on YouTube. Morning, Rob. Morning, man. Happy Friday. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Practice number 13 took place yesterday, and it was closed to the public. Doors were shut. They've got curtains or tarps that they put down around the practice field so nobody can see. If you are at practice and it's closed, if you get pretty close, you can kind of see in between the curtains if security doesn't catch you. But thankfully, the reporters were there. So we've got some boots on the ground coverage of what happened yesterday. And as much as I don't like to relay this message to you guys, Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated stated that Jordan Love is in a bit of a funk right now. So not something you ever want to hear. He's been a little off target. Overall, yesterday, he was 6 for 11 with an interception and 2 touchdowns yesterday while he was throwing. He did have some nice plays, so I don't want to overreact. And pair that with the fact that hopefully this means our defense is actually legit. So I get pumped up about our defense every year, saying they're going to be top 5, top 10. I hope for top 15. That's just be in the top half, but we're usually disappointed year in and year out. So hopefully this year is different, and maybe we got a top 5 or top 10, top 5 defensive squad. Well, we shall see. Couple injury notes here. Tyron Hopper did not practice with an ankle injury. Elton Jenkins did not practice. He had a veteran rest day. Jaden Reed returned to practice after missing Wednesday with a calf injury, and that's good news. So the full list of players who did not practice yesterday were Dimitri Stanley with a hamstring, Carrington Valentine also with a hamstring. You hate the hamstring word, but it's going to happen. Desmond Alexander, Keyshawn Banks with a groin, Edgerrin Cooper with a hip, Donovan Jennings with a knee, and Jordan Morgan with a shoulder. Coach did talk about Jordan Morgan yesterday morning and said it's going to be about a week. So nothing long-term, which is great news. And Sean Ryan took over the starting 5 yesterday, and he had a false start on the first snap. So he got put to the second squad, 2 deep for the rest of the day. And then Jacob Monk, I think, replaced him, according to the boots on the ground reporters. Some good news regarding our kickers. Anders Carlson and Greg Joseph both attempted 6 field goals yesterday, and they both went 6 for 6. Great news there. Hopefully they can build some momentum heading into this weekend, and they are in action in Cleveland. They'll both be splitting. So we'll see how that works out as far as field goals, extra points, that sort of thing. If one guy is going to get more extra points, more field goals, we shall see. Hopefully one of these guys really just starts to take over. the battle for the kicking job, just because, man, first preseason game, we've got 3 kickers on the roster: Anders, Greg Joseph, and Alex Hale. They just signed Alex Hale yesterday. He's an undrafted free agent out of Oklahoma State, and he went 5 for 6, if I remember correctly, so not too shabby. And so, yeah, we got 3 kickers still on the roster. Hopefully one of these guys just starts to kind of separate themselves from the others. I want a kicker who's just going to make the kicks. It's that simple. So let's get into the chat here, shall we? Appreciate you guys tuning in. One of my favorite times of the day is talking with you guys about our squad. So let's take a look, shall we? Brian, what is the safety battle looking like? Great question, Brian. I was at practice last week, so I'll combine kind of what I saw with a lot of the reporting that's been happening over the last few weeks since I haven't been able to be at every practice. But we all know Xavier McKinney's going to start. He's one of them. Packers signed him to a pretty big deal to come over here after spending the last few years with the Giants. And the guy I'm pumped to have back there, so I'm excited about Xavier McKinney. He's been making plays all training camp. He kind of become that leader on the defensive side, at least one of them. Excuse me. We've got rookie Javon Bullard, 2nd-round draft pick out of Georgia. Rookie Evan Williams, the 4th-round draft pick out of Oregon. And then the 2nd-year guy, Anthony Johnson Jr., the 7th-rounder from last year's draft out of Iowa State. All 3 of these guys are playing well in camp so far. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if either one of them kind of cracked that starting spot. If I had to project or guess which one I think will be starting safety week 1, I'd have to go with Javon Bullard. He's been playing really well. With that, though, I think Evan Williams and Anthony Johnson Jr. are also playing great in camp, and it's far from over. We've still got a lot of practices left, 3 preseason games to see what these guys are all about. So even though one of them is going to win that starting safety job, at least for week 1, I think throughout the entire season, all 3 of these guys are going to see the field in some capacity. So if I had to guess or project right now, Javon Bullard. Benny, good to see you, man. Long time no see. Thanks for hopping in the chat. Appreciate you. Jalen, who is the top dog in the wide receiver room? What's up, Jalen? Thank you for the question. We've got a bunch of top dogs. We got a bunch of dogs, I should say, in that group. Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Bo Melton, Malik Heath, and don't forget about Grant Dubose, 2nd-year guy, and he's actually kind of making some noise here these first 2 weeks of training camp. So I think he's got a clear path to make this team and crack what will probably end up being a 6-man wide receiver group. So him and Malik Heath are battling it out for that 6th spot, at least in my opinion. And so far, Grant Dubose has had a good camp. I haven't heard as much from Malik Heath, but Grant Dubose, nonetheless, making some noise and just kind of making sure we all don't forget about him. So don't forget about Grant Dubose. If I had to absolutely pick a top dog, I think it would go to Romeo. Kind of that guy that Jordan will probably throw to on a must-have at 3rd down late in the game. With that being said, I don't think we'll have a clear-cut leader as far as stats go throughout the season, unless there's an array of injuries. Christian, if he stays healthy, is going to score a bunch of touchdowns. Jaden Reed's going to get a lot of action, jet sweeps, playing out of the slot, that sort of thing. And I think Romeo overall will probably lead us in catches. But don't get me wrong, I am a Wicks believer, but Romeo, Christian, and Jaden, those are your top 3 guys. Those guys have been getting a lot more snaps, or the most snaps during team by far. I think Dontavian Wicks is going to be good. I'm a believer, and he'll get a lot of playing time. But so far through training camp, it's been Romeo, Christian, and Jaden Reed getting a lot of the snaps. Wicks is still out there. Bo Melton's still out there. Malik Heath's still getting snaps for sure. But those are your top 3 guys. So, Jalen, thank you for the question. I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. Who's going to be the wide receiver one? Do we need a wide receiver one? Who's going to lead in touchdowns? Who's going to lead in catches? Throw it in the chat there, and we'll chat it up. What else we got? What else we got? Grace, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you too. Jonathan, love the wall. Low-key jealous. Jonathan, the wall. It keeps going. I'm looking at about the same amount on the other side here. A lot of time, a lot of waiting, and yeah, a lot of patience went into getting the autographs. Which all these I got signed in person. The picture of each time getting them signed, you can the one you can probably best see is the AJ Dillon one. Had him sign my jersey of his last year at training camp. So yeah, my wife is there every time taking pictures. And yeah, she's a saint. She sits there and waits with me, or she sits at signings with me, and yeah, I'm spoiled for sure. So I'm from Cali, way too hard to get autographs without being so expensive. Yeah, I've never bought anything signed. That's just not my thing. Everybody, other people enjoy doing that, which is great. Not my thing. My uncle took me to a Donald Driver softball game when I was younger, and my technically first, maybe second autograph I had ever gotten when I was younger. And yeah, he walked down and signed my jersey of his, which is on the other side of the computer here. But yeah, autographs are expensive. So I've never bought autographs. That's not my thing, but I pay for it in waiting at signings or waiting at camp and that sort of thing. So Jonathan, thanks for the question. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Good to see you. Hope you have a good Friday. Durant, we don't have a wide receiver one, and it's a beautiful thing. I completely agree. I'd rather have 6 guys who can be a wide receiver one on any given day rather than 1 wide receiver one. Or I'd rather have 3 guys that are capable of being a wide receiver one over just 1. So I know we had Devontae back in the day, best receiver in the game during his tenure, especially the latter half, 19, 20, 21 seasons. But man, we all saw it against the 49ers with Rodgers tuning into him, which is, I don't have a problem with. You're wide receiver one, the best wide receiver in the game. I have no issue with Aaron trying to force it to him more than anybody else because he's the best. So he deserves that first read. He deserves the attention and the targets. So, but I agree. We don't have a wide receiver one, and it's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Durant, for tuning in. Good to see ya. Joe, how are you? Joe, I'm doing good, my man. It is a beautiful Friday. Was up bright and early, hit the gym. Now I'm chatting with you guys. It was about 55 degrees. Fall weather is right around the corner, and I couldn't be more excited. How are you, Joe? Good to see you. Hope you have a good Friday. Jonathan, do you think Jacobs will have more 100-yard games this year compared to Jones? I miss Aaron Jones, though. Jonathan, I miss Aaron Jones, too. I was sad to see him go. I was pretty excited during that half an hour when we had both Josh Jacobs and Aaron Jones theoretically on the Packers. I was pretty excited. But things changed, and he hopped over and joined the Minnesota Vikings out of all places. Not sure the thinking behind that. I'm sure that's part mostly money-wise or motivated, and maybe some revenge motivation. Nobody knows. I don't know. But, man, you're going to go play for the Vikings? I don't think they're going to be that good this year. Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, I don't think has had that great a camp. He's played with the ones barely ever throughout training camp so far, so I don't think he's going to get any legit playing time this year unless Sam Darnold gets hurt. I don't think Sam Darnold's terrible by any means. You're throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson. They've got some guys over there, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be a legit threat to the north. I think it's Packers, Lions, and then we'll see about the Bears, and then the Vikings are just kind of, the Vikings. So not sure why he went to the Vikes. I was sad to see that, but I do think Josh Jacobs will have more 100-yard games this year. The main factor is I think Josh Jacobs is going to stay healthy, or at least has a better chance of staying healthy. Aaron Jones last year missed quite a few games with that hamstring injury that he had from the Bears game week 1 on that 4th down touchdown throw that Jordan hit him on. And then I forget his second injury. I know he had a second one later on in the season. But yeah, Jonesy, I love him. But yeah, he was missing some games over the last couple of years. And I think that was probably part of the reason why the Packers didn't want to re-sign him. And he's getting a little older. And don't get me wrong, he's still a beast. He ended the year last year with, I think, 4 straight 100-yard games. So he's still got the juice, without a doubt. But I think Josh Jacobs is 26, a little younger, has better injury history as far as not missing as much time. And yeah, I said it right after we signed him, a while after we signed him, I should say. I didn't give myself a chance to really soak in the Josh Jacobs edition, and I think he's gonna put himself back on the map after last year was kind of a down year, but he was on the Raiders. They were garbage, so they had nobody to throw to. The offensive line was terrible. The year before that, led the year in rushing, was an All-Pro, so I think he's going to get back to or close to his year in 2022. So, Jonathan, thank you for the question. Appreciate you tuning in, especially over on YouTube. Thank you. All right, folks, what do we got? Lauren, your favorite Packers player of all time? Holy cow, that is a question. For me, it is impossible to narrow it down to just one or even 5, honestly. There's so many. The Packers are so old, and they've been so successful during their existence that there's been so many good players. They have the most MVPs, I think maybe right behind the Colts, if I remember correctly. Or maybe they have the most. I can't remember. I think they do have the most MVPs. In NFL history, they have the second most Hall of Famers in NFL history behind the Bears. So many good players, so many fan favorites, so many good moments that create the aura of players like Antonio Freeman, the Monday Night Catch, and him being on the Super Bowl team. You know, he's a fan favorite and still involved in Green Bay and Packers stuff to this day. I have favorite players. I have different favorites from different eras, if that makes sense. This current squad, I think my favorite player is Jair Alexander. During my glory days back in the day playing football, I played corner, so I've always loved our corners throughout the years. Tramon Williams, absolutely one of my favorite players, probably in my top 5. I had a chance to meet him. He was great. Charles Woodson, that goes without saying. You know, he's a surefire favorite for a lot of people. Al Harris, Sam Shields, love those guys. Absolutely love those guys. So I can't mention favorites without Aaron Rodgers, of course, an obvious choice. But yeah, top 5 all time in NFL history, any position. You could argue he's the most talented thrower of the football ever, which he is. People like to say he's the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs. I like Tom Brady. He's the undeniable GOAT, I think, with his resume. But yeah, Aaron led the team, led us to a Super Bowl title that I got to watch and witness and enjoy. All those guys from the Super Bowl squad: Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Nick Collins, Clay Matthews. I'm forgetting tons and tons of them. BJ Raji. I mean, there's just so many guys from that squad that you can pick out and call a favorite. So I could spend forever on this, but I'll give you a top 5. From the olden days, Ray Nitschke. You can't go wrong with Ray Nitschke. My dad took me to meet Ray Nitschke, funny enough, when I was, I think, 1 or 2 years old. I've got a picture of me, my dad, my sister, and Ray Nitschke sitting at a table together while he's signing some stuff for my dad. My dad ended up giving me a small Packers hat that he signed at that signing. So I've got that set up here in the office with the photo of us 3 hanging out behind. I'll have to throw that up on the socials later so you guys can know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Ray Nitschke, Aaron Rodgers, like I said, Tramon Williams, like I said, Mason Crosby, that might not be one on most people's list, but a guy who he's a Christian. I've always enjoyed keeping along with what he's doing off the field. And on top of that, he's given us so many good moments over the last decade plus to celebrate. Now, kickers, they give you moments that, are frustrating for sure. That goes without saying. But so many moments are just, man, the Monday night game against the Niners when we were playing CJ Beathard, game-winning field goal. So many game winners. Even the game winner a couple years ago against the Niners when Rodgers hit Devontae twice and he pops on the field, 52-yarder, bang, no big deal. Wins the game. That was during the regular season, of course, because we can't beat them in the playoffs. Excuse me. The Cowboys playoff game. He hit the 50-plus yarder twice. I mean, that's just insane. So many good memories from Mason Crosby that he is in my top 5. So Donald Driver, that's a fan favorite. Donald Driver is just DD is the man. So drafted with the Packers, 7th round out of Alcorn State, and retired with the Packers. That Kobe Bryant kind of resume, obviously not statistics wise, but drafting and finishing with the sole team is rare. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to do it. Didn't happen. You thought Tom Brady was going to do it. Didn't happen. You thought, who else? NBA is pretty. Giannis is going to do it. Come on now. Put that up in the air. But yeah, Donald Driver's great. Got to meet him quite a few times, and every time he takes more time with the fans than I've seen anybody else take. Maybe Dave Robinson. He's taking a lot of time. He takes his time with the fans too. So, Ray Nitschke, Aaron Rodgers, Tramon Williams, Mason Crosby, and Donald Driver. All right, Omer, my man, good to see ya. Omer says James Lofton simply because he was their star for 15 years and they sucked year and year. Not the best Packer, but a true warrior, endured the most. Yes, that was before my time, but I am well educated on James Lofton. James Lofton's the guy that most people forget about when they talk about Packers receivers all time. So thanks for bringing that up, Omer. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning, Rob. Hope all is well. Today, go Pack Go. Everything is great, my man. Started off with a good workout this morning. It's about 55 degrees, a beautiful Friday, and keeping the morning rolling, chatting it up with you guys. So good to see you. Maddie with the correction. Green Bay with 10 MVPs, then Colts at 9. Thank you. Thank you for that. I thought the Packers led. So thank you for clearing that up. My man, Trey. Good morning, brother. Go Pack Go, my guy, Rob. Good to see you, man. Long time no see. Where have you been? I've been missing you. Trey. Hope all is well, my man. Good to see you. Hope you have a good Friday. Thanks for tuning in. So before we head out of here, the Packers are flying to Cleveland today to get ready for tomorrow night's preseason game. So we play the Browns tomorrow at 3:15 or 3:25, that mid-afternoon game. And the Browns have a good squad. So I'm not sure how much their starters will play, but it'll be a good matchup, a good preseason rollout to see where exactly we're at, too. 3:25 tomorrow. That's when it is. Packers football is almost back. I'm super excited. So also, if you're wanting to go to training camp this year, there are only 4 open practices left to the public. So 2 of them are next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you can realistically make it, give it a go. Always a great time. Just go ahead and do it. We got 4 of them left, and then boom, season's here, and we are off and running. Journey to number 14. Journey to title number 14. That's what I'm going to be rolling with this year. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for me today as far as the show goes. But the content never stops. I'm always posting anything Packers related all day long. So be sure to follow me at GBP Daily on every social platform. If you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would mean a ton. I will be back and at it again tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you all then. And until then, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.